Hey, and welcome to another episode of Renee Ruth Music. I'm your host, Fred Jackson, and I'm with the lovely Renee Ruth.
Oh,
yeah!
Thanks for coming on back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Crazy. Yeah. And this episode, we're going to ask you anything.
Every time, we're just gonna ask you anything. Yeah.
All right. So, before we dive into the music.
Oh. I think he's going off book here because we talked about this earlier. I feel like he's going. You giving me a left hook here?
Well, I just want to see how are you doing.
Is that the first question?
Ask you anything.
I am good. Actually, Fred, you know I've talked about this. So lately I've been getting the itch to produce, which is useless. Because it's not useless, it's just funny that I've got the itch to produce because I don't have enough skills yet. But I've been dabbling. My good friend Zion runs this On the Hook event. On, I think it's Sunday and Thursdays, but definitely Thursdays. And I went in on Thursday and they give you like a genre and then you have like, 3 or 4 sounds you can use, but the theme is what you have to stay in.
Okay.
And then you can take them and create a full song. Most of them come back with like a minute and a half. It was like 16 bars, and I'm like, I did 16 bars because it took the whole hour to do 16 bars. But I put in some strings. I made my own beats.
Yeah.
I wrote my own bass line,
There you
and
go.
I was like, dude, like I'm getting the itch to produce mainly because of efficiency. Like I was telling you, I just got a request from a music supervisor for a very specific song, and I'm like, man, if I could produce, I could have called you up. We could have wiped out 4 or 5 hours, worked on it tonight. And I was like, instead I'm like trying to find because we lost our producer.
Right, yeah.
He went on to bigger and better things for himself, and so we're working with a new producer, but also he's busy and has a life, and so it's just a time thing. So when you ask how I am and we're in this music podcast, I'm like, I want to produce. How am I? Frustrated because I want to produce.
Yeah. Well, now let's change gears and let's talk about more of the exciting things.
Yeah, no, the things we already produce, which are amazing. Yeah.
And that's charting in the UK. So, what's happening overseas?
So the backstory is if you're listening and you're an artist, there is and you've made music, there's a really cool platform called Music X-Ray, and Google it, and it has briefs. So one of the things that I used to kind of create a lot of the songs during the pandemic were briefs. So many would come through, like obviously hip hop, I was like, not me, rock, not me, but like if they came through and it was in the genre I was in, and then I liked the lyric ideas and I liked a lot of that, I would use the brief to write a song. And so that made a lot of the music that I did in the last few years very sync friendly. But I like to write in a space that's versatile.
Right.
So in having a whole, this year, 2023, when January started, I said, all right, that's it. I finished 2 albums during the pandemic. I'm gonna start pitching this stuff because I've got this music and I want it to go somewhere. And here's the truth about being a musician and an artist and creating your own art. It's not like there's some needle in a haystack that everyone's looking for so they'll find you one day. It doesn't work like that. Like you have to put yourself out there and build relationships and connect with people and push you. Like you have to push yourself first before anyone's going to push you.
It's a new hustle to this game.
It's a well, I don't know. Do you remember growing up and feeling like it was a right time, right place thing?
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Like we were always told,
yeah.
You got to go to New York City. You got to go to like Nashville.
It doesn't really.
None of that matters anymore.
Social, to a certain degree, but social media has definitely.
Internet changed the playing field.
Right.
You don't have to be in a specific place. So, I I decided to pitch myself, and I started on that platform because it's a pay to play, and thankfully I make some halfway decent money. So I was like, instead of going out for dinner, I'm going to spend $30 pitching my songs to a few places. And so I did that since January, and everything in life is a numbers game, everything. And so I finally, I don't know if it was a month ago or 6 weeks ago, I get a message, and I pitched because they were putting a compilation CD together of Latin pop. Like how random, like I randomly have 2 Latin pop songs, like randomly have. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me try this. So I put my most recent Latin pop song up for the compilation, and you get a message. It's so fun. They're like, you've been selected. Like, so you get this email, you've been selected. I'm like, what? So like, and I've been selected a few times. Sometimes you're just selected to the library, and it'll be in there if someone's looking. Sometimes you're selected for a specific thing, like getting on the CD. So like when they said I was selected, it was to be on the CD. And so it was a UK company called WOA Entertainment. Woo, shout out. Yeah. And so I got a message about 2 days after that. They're like, hey, we really think this song has legs. Like, we think it can, you think of a fine wine and it has legs when you swirl it. Like, I think it's going to go somewhere. And I was like, really? I think I'm always surprised, not because I don't think the songs are great. It's just because it's like the thing you always think about. Then when someone says it, you're like,
right, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So they said, we think we can get this to chart. And without even, not necessarily asking me, but they sent it off to South America, and like 4 or 5 countries agreed to put it on their FM radio station. So they had me on their podcast to talk about that. I'm like, how do you feel about the fact that you have all these new fans in Latin America? I was like, I do? Because like I found out in the podcast. So they were like, hey, we want to try and chart this in the UK if you're up for it. And I said, yeah. Like, we worked out the details, and yesterday I got an email, and they're like, congratulations, you're in the top 100 in the UK. You actually hit 41. So it's weird because it's a Spotify. So I don't know that I'm on FM radio in the UK yet. I think they're trying, but like you have to jump through the gatekeepers for that. But Spotify has their running playlist. I guess they have a couple top 100 running playlists. And so this one for the UK, it changes in real time. So like, as people are listening, if your song's being listened to more, it climbs up. And so like in one day you could go from like 40 to 70. And I was telling Fred how weird that was, because growing up, it was like the weekly top. Do you remember weekly top 40? Like, and it was like they gauged what was listened to over the week. Right. Now it's literally real time. Like
what's happening right now.
Who is listening to this right now? So like at one point yesterday, I was in the 41st position. Just wild to me that I even was able to get into that space. Like I was on the same list with like Meghan Trainor, and I was above Ed Sheeran at one point. Like it's just names. I'm like, you see my name in the list, and it's like moving in this list. I'm like, what?
That has to be exciting. That has to.
We have talked about this forever, and just it's like, but it was that elusive. Like, how do we get from here to there? What does that look like? And so, yes, it's exciting because this means we're one step closer to opening for one of those people that's on that list.
That's right.
So if you're on that list and hear our song, we want to tour with you. We want to tour with you.
Exactly.
We got a cellist.
Yep.
We're looking for we got a stuff. We want to tour with you.
Exactly. And then
You have another question? I thought we were done. Okay. I'm ready. Okay, one more. All right. One more. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know last week I was asking who would you like to open with. This week I'm going to ask you, and I know.
Do you know the answer?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
But maybe. But I think I still know. But no, I don't know.
Okay, what's the question?
All right. Who would you like? Either A, you be a feature with, or who would you like to be collaborate with?
You mean like work on a song together, write a song together? Yeah. Do you think you know that answer?
I do not.
So, I have always thought that I had the vocals for EDM. So like Above and Beyond, BT,
So I do know BT.
BT. Oh,
Yeah, I do know
He's been hearing about
BT.
BT since 1997.
Yeah. So
I love BT.
yeah. I didn't know if he was still in.
He's still in the mix.
Yeah.
I love
You know,
it.
since you're charting now, did you just move to bigger and
listen
better
to BT
things?
now.
You know.
Well, what I love about him too is he's not mainstream.
Mhm.
He is, but he isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
he carved, like musically, he carved his own path, and I love that because we were just talking about the fact that like even though we would fall into the pop category, we're very much cinematic orchestral pop. Like it's like this thing, like, and it's cool because we get to create our own like vibes now. It's
Yeah.
not just so pigeonholed, but he was already doing that like the late 90s. Like here was techno and he's like, I'm over here. Like,
Right.
you know, singing on his own stuff, playing all the instruments on his own stuff, recording like sounds, like recording the rain. And that's like literally an ambient sound in his track.
Yeah.
I loved how raw his stuff was, but he made it so, I had mad respect for that dude. But then even like listening to Above and Beyond, like with some like Zoe Johnston, Kristen Hawthorne. Some of them don't even sing anymore. But the girls that I grew up listening to that were behind the DJs or the techno artists always wanted to be a voice. So when you think of collaborations, like you're right. I started leaning to the
Yeah.
I started leaning to the
I mean, like I kind of knew, but then I was like, I don't know, because things might have changed now.
Well, no. I still want to tour and do the band, but like I still see like it would be so cool to do like those EDM festivals are big. And awesome. And like the lights and the sound and like
I haven't experienced that. We need to go.
We need
to go.
BT, Above and Beyond, Armin van Buuren, when are you guys touring next? So we do, and it'd be really cool to have me do vocals live with the DJ or the artist. Not all the guys, you know, they're artists, right?
Yeah.
And then like live drums, because that's what they do. Like they have the live, like 1 or 2 live players against the wall of sound.
Gotcha.
It'd be so amazing. The energy crowd.
Oh, I bet.
Like 10,000 people.
I bet.
Lights. Oh, yeah, no, it's still that.
Yeah.
No, it's still that. And in the EDM world, like in that world, we're young. Like it. Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they're not. You don't age out in that world because it is all about the music.
Correct.
Like literally, it's just about the music.
Yeah.
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 Love it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
that's your 3. No more.
That's
no
our
more.
time.
That's it.
I believe that's it.
That's it. That's
We'll
it.
catch you next time. Y'all have a good evening.
Cheers.
Thank you.